Mario Cipollini, Il Bello, Il Rey Leone, undoubtedly the best sprinter of the 90s and early 2000s. A peculiar and strange man full of charisma and madness in equal parts. But surely many of you are unaware of his dark history with doping that culminated with his magical year 2002. Want to know how a man of his characteristics had his best season at 35 years of age? Well, without further ado, let the show begin. It seemed that Super Mario Cipollini's best years were over. His contract with Saeco, with which he won countless victories, expired, and he signed with a team that was also Italian but much more modest, Acqua e Sapone, a team in which most experts assured that he was going to retire and say goodbye with honors. No one expected him to sweep as he did, except for one man, the Spanish Dr. Eufemiano Fuentes. Later known for his involvement in Operation Puerto, Cipollini was a client of the Canary Islands doctor between the 2001 and 2004 seasons under the aliases of Maria, Sepe and Pavarotti, in a fantastic tribute to the great Italian tenor. The Lion King did not do badly in 2001, so by 2002 he decided to increase his doping to unsuspected levels. The table you are seeing in the images is taken from the police documentation of Operation Puerto, and in it, we see how during 200 of the 365 days of 2002, Cipollini should take different doses of EPO, growth hormone, and up to 13 bags of blood that would enter his already veteran body just before the most important competitions of his season. Cipollini's first big goal was the Classicissimo, the Milan-San Remo, in which he had been on the podium twice but had never won. This, for a climber and classical man of his quality, was a challenge. But we could immediately see that those who claimed he was finished did not know the blows they were going to receive that season. As if he were 25 instead of 35 years old, the rider in the zebra jersey made his way through sprinters of the quality of Eric Zabel or the Gringo champion Fred Rodriguez and beat them with such ease in the Via Roma sprint that he had enough time to raise his arms and show the extension of his tremendous body as he would later do on numerous occasions throughout the season. Cipollini had won his first monument at 35, and he knew the best was yet to come. After finishing 9th in the Tour of Flanders as a great expert in cobble walls that he was, weeks later he gave us a hemodriatic exhibition for history in the Ghent-Wevelgem, a competition that he had already won twice in the early 90s and that for experts is the 6th monument of cycling. After a stay in Holland to refill a blood bag in the UFE Fuentes program, Cipollini allowed a group of dangerous breakaways to escape that day, including Lance Armstrong's US Postal teammate, George Hincapie. It was far from being a problem. On the camel climb, Mario Cipollini and his almost 80 kilos of weight attacked as if he were Tom Bonnet himself and went up to catch the escapees. And not only that, he also hesitated them at the finish line. As if they were two little birds and he was a plane, he overtook Fred Rodriguez of Milan-San Remo and Hincapie with tremendous ease, getting his first win in a classic after 9 seasons and ready for one of his main goals of the season, the Giro d'Italia. In the Italian Grand Tour, Cipollini was simply invincible. While his friend Marco Pantani was battling demons in dingy hovels, our favorite Pavarotti got no more and no less than victory in 6 stages, all the volleys that took place in the competition, and of course the Maglia Ciclamino, the points jersey so precious that he had not conquered for 5 seasons. He was 35 years old and his performance was better than when he dominated the sprints in the Tour de France, which he did not attend. Not because he didn't want to, but because his team was not invited. Otherwise, he would have been in Paris with the green jersey of the points friends. At that time, there was some tension with Dr. Fuentes as Cipollini assured that he would retire at the end of the campaign. 11 years later, we learned that these statements had to do with a delay in the payment to the Spanish doctor for his services, which he was able to grant him in the Vuelta a España that same season, where the Lion King did what he used to do in the Grand Tours he was committed to to win big in 3 stages and leave as soon as the mountain stages arrived, because why suffer if you can be surrounded by luxury in Tuscany? There he would prepare with the Italian coach David Ballerini the great goal of his meteoric year, the World Cycling Championship. In 2002, Belgium was chosen to host the Cycling World Championships. And to break with all its tradition of classics, it decided to present an absurdly flat course on the Zolder motor racing circuit. It was a championship for fast men, and Cipollini, who had never participated in a world championship before, was not only delighted, he knew he had a chance to win. Concentrating in an Italian spa in Salice Terme with several of his faithful gregarios, Mario did his stealth preparation with the latest bags from Dr. Fuentes and showed up ready to win the World Championship. The race was an absolute disaster for the spectator. The most boring World Cup in history, the fastest and also the one in which more riders finished the competition, with a shameful number of 168 riders that made clear the supposed hardness of the course. As if it were just another stage, the Italian team worked with a perfectly measured and controlled gear to leave Cipollini leading the peloton in the last 300 meters of the competition. At that distance, Il Rey Leone was totally unstoppable and took one of the easiest victories of his career over Australia's Robbie McEwen and Germany's Eric Zabel. In a World Cup. In his first World Cup. At the age of 35. He had achieved his childhood dream of becoming a cycling world champion. His year was so well-rounded that it ended with him winning the Golden Bicycle, which credited him as the best cyclist of the year. 9 years later, we all knew why. To this day, Cipollini still denies his relationship with Fuentes despite the more than obvious evidence, presumably because he continues to live off cycling and the successes of that 2002 season. I hope you like this story as much as I did telling it. See you in the next one!